All right. All right. Well, we're going to kick things off here right now for the 2025 digital marketing plan, specifically for landscape, hardscape, and outdoor living contractors. And really, this is all designed to help you guys maximize your lead flow coming into the new year. So, in the chat for the live stream participants, in the chat, I have put in two links. One is for the marketing plan. This is more of the overview of what we're going to cover here, as well as has a checklist for yourself. And then the second link there is going to a marketing worksheet. Now, for both of these, you want to make sure they're Google files. Make a copy for yourself. And as we go through this, there'll be opportunity for you to put in your own numbers so you can actually follow along with what we're going to be covering. So if I haven't met you before, my name is Josh Blakely. I am the owner and founder of Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing, and we work in this industry to help businesses get exponential growth through the digital marketing channels that we see are working best. And today we're going to be doing an overview of a bunch of those channels here and just giving you some information, updates on what has really changed in 2024 and we're seeing is going to continue to make an impact into 2025. And also just revisiting the tried and true methods of digital marketing that we see working as well. So we're blending the new with the old here. And I hope you guys are ready. I hope you've had a chance to get those files there as well. This is an interactive webinar. This is a workshop. So we're going to be working through this together here. So let's jump over into the presentation side of things. And if you're having any issues, just make a note in the chat if you're not able to access those. And along with that, this planning workshop here, we're going to be really looking at, what are your goals and targets for the next year, giving you a chance to look back on what 24 has been like as well. And then the strategy, the plan, looking at the budgeting, where is best to allocate your marketing budget moving forward. And then the important trends I'll get into there as well, all designed to make sure that you have a successful 2025 and beyond for your business. Okay, and there's that link there. First link is the marketing plan. Make sure you grab a copy of that. And then just a little bit about me before we get into it. Why listen to myself and my agency here as well. But there's a little bit of detail there as well. We're always about continuing to get better ourselves as an agency. So we're a part of a mastermind called Seven Figure Agency. We are members of the California Landscape Contractors Association as our local involvement there as well. And you can see some of the details there about what we've managed, the types of results we've gotten to, and really some other things as well. I mean, we're going to dive into SEO on this too, but we're actively managing 70 to 80 Google business profiles right now and have done a ton in the past. And those are absolute gold getting them right. So we're going to spend a good chunk of time on that today. But just so you can see, we've tried and tested things out in terms of SEO and paid advertising. So we see what is giving the biggest impact to ourselves and our clients. And this is our focus. This industry here, we want to help businesses like you get exponential growth. Some of our valued clients we're working with as well in the industry. And next key part here is just really diving into what we see as having now the biggest impact in 2025. And a lot of these changes came into place in 2024, but they're only going to really start to have a greater impact into 2025 as well. So if you've got any questions about this, just put a comment in the chat here as well. But number one, really probably not a surprise to anyone whatsoever, but AI has just been changing, every industry since really coming into play a couple of years ago. No surprises, 2024, we saw a huge shift in industries as well. And really, for us, there's the digital marketing side, what we do. But then for our clients, we see what is happening in terms of how they're managing their business practices and everything involved with that too. Um, biggest thing, biggest impact we're seeing for digital marketing right now is with Chat GPT. So if you haven't used Chat GPT, you're probably kind of like in the minority at this point. Most people have used that in some shape or form. Now, what we have been seeing from SEO side of things is you can actually ask ChatGPT, find me a landscape designer in San Diego, for example. And what ChatGPT is doing now is it's connected into the Bing search results, which is owned by Microsoft, uh, and it will actually generate you a response for that as well. So, previously in SEO for websites and Google business profiles and things, we've seen Google just really dominate that space. Bing Chat has always been a part of that. Bing Places, which is their equivalent of a Google business profile, is part of that. But now we're seeing ChatGPT push into this market as well, and it's another avenue. It's another avenue for people to find you online, and a lot of people appreciate that ChatGPT can give you a quick answer summary of things without you having to scroll through ads and do things like that. So really key focus here as well, and what we're seeing is businesses that have a strong focus on creating local, and in SEO we call it hyper local, which is really down to the neighborhoods of a metro area. Um, that is having this impact on the search results in Bing, which in turn can flow through into Chat GPT. So we expect to see more and more of that as well. So even more important for your website and your Google business profile, for those things to be discussing your local areas and the services you're providing there. Next, number two, the online scheduling. Uh, I don't know if you've done it. Myself, I've I've used Open Table on my phone this year more than I ever have had to book restaurants and to book reservations, rather than calling them, and that's flowing through into a lot of businesses as well. So we're just seeing a lot of people are preferring to schedule online. So what this means for the outdoor living industry is definitely not up there in terms of the level of need that a restaurant would have. But if people have a chance to schedule a time on your calendar just to chat more about their project inquiry, they're appreciating that. Uh, Better yet, actually having that time booked for someone to come and do the consult with them. Though, we know in most cases you want to talk to the person first to get to know about more of what they're needing before you would do that. But yeah, in the least, it just wouldn't hurt right now to link in with a calendar booking platform, something that could sync with your Google Calendar or someone in your office Google Calendar to do that. Things are moving more that way as well, so that's definitely a focus area there. Then number three, we're seeing the rise of text as well. It's in a similar vein to the online scheduling where people just kind of want to get things done at their own pace, at their own convenience, and giving your leads clients the option just to text versus calling you is important. Just the really important thing is to make sure here you have a CRM or a system in place where you can keep personal text from business, keep everything organized. And we do have our own platform, shameless plug there. We do have our own platform, the JBL Connect, which does that as well. But there are tons of CRMs out there that can do that and do the online calendar linking there that is on number two as well. But don't sleep on that. That's a good opportunity there to engage your clients. Then into number 4, the AI lead follow up is a big thing here. So there is AI bots that can schedule people onto the calendar as well. But very soon, I mean, things are released too, but it's still kind of at the stage where we're testing things out ourselves. But to have an AI voice receptionist, again, chat to the people who are calling, get to know about the project or the area they might be in to see if it's even something you would service. But that's coming up very quick, and is already implemented in some ways in 2024, and we have been using it too as well. Then moving into number 5, if you're running any type of Google local services ads, if you have that set up, you've probably seen this. Google has made a lot of changes this year into that, and really the crux of it is they have moved away from having people analyze the leads and the calls coming through into more of an automated AI system. In some ways, it's more beneficial. It can be helpful. In other ways, there's still some kinks Google is working out. But it's really important, really key that if you're running local services ads, you need to be giving Google feedback on the leads that are coming through. If they're out of service area or if they're out of your service types, make sure you go into that lead section in there and giving that information to Google. Just you got to give every opportunity there to send that feedback to them to improve future lead quality and to potentially get credited back for things there too as well. So a lot more of the onus has kind of come back on the business and people managing that to do so. So just be aware of that one too. And then lastly, again, this ties in with AI, but due to the amount of AI content being flooded out to the internet, Google is rewarding businesses that are putting a focus on authentic content. And not just Google, it's across all social media channels as well. However, we're seeing, the biggest return for businesses is definitely focusing on Google and Bing to an extent for SEO purposes, is that Google wants to keep establishing more details about your business and what you do, where you do it. And some of the key things here is, original video content performing really well for engagement and for SEO. But things like talking about your industry or answering questions, explaining things, anything that you can get out there on video to push your brand and your business is highly worth spending the time on, no matter how quick it is. I mean, you guys who are building like beautiful outdoor projects, you have the best backdrops and scenery just to do quick rundowns of things in. So do that. And then from an SEO perspective, we're really seeing the project gallery section on your website. And if you don't have one, you need to get one. It's the second most visited page of client websites that we have and that we're tracking, and people spend time on that site. Google knows when people spend more time. It's a ranking factor, so that's important. But what we're also seeing is we're going another step deeper for SEO purposes, in that it's not enough just to have just a project gallery page. We want to build out pages for the projects. And this is the hyper local content Google is loving. You've got original images and video on there. You've got details about the project, where it was, the services provided, the products used potentially there as well. All of this people enjoy reading and going through as well. So it's part of our SEO programs. We started incorporating that this year just due to that too. And Sal, I can see your comment there that AI will be the future. Absolutely. It's something we just always looking forward to. I mean, us as an agency, what we do, our systems and our processes are being tweaked and changed almost weekly, almost every day in some respects, on just how we can utilize it as well. So most of what I've just covered there is AI, the result of AI, or is now being influenced by AI as well. So that's kind of like the state of the union, state of where things are at as we close out 2024 there. So jumping into the planning side of things, setting clear goals is really here. What are your goals for 2025? Is it a revenue goal you're trying to hit, or just a business increase? Do you want to get to a certain level of projects coming in, or is it a hire, a key hire you want to bring into the business? Success is goals, all else is commentary. Brian Tracy, a key quote there around setting yourself up for success. And when you've got the goals in place, when you've got a focus for what you want to achieve, you can measure everything else against that, and your strategies, what you do in the business, how you manage things, obviously the marketing side as well. That's the wind in the sails to keep you on track and keep your bearings there. And that's what we're going to dive into today. The worksheet and the planning book. Hopefully you've gotten a chance to grab that as well. The first section here is just a look at the current snapshot of things. So you can fill in these details yourselves, but what is your average monthly revenue? Typical number of projects per month. That obviously that can vary depending on the types of projects and whether you have some recurring services that go along with any outdoor construction, or whether you're doing GC work as well. But your numbers more than anyone, so you can just note down what you think there as well. Other key metrics, do analysis of your average ticket price. On average, what of all the projects you did in 2024, what would that average out to? Then the conversion, your closing rate, really, of 10 leads, 10 inquiries that come through, how many do you close as a percentage? And then number of employees is another metric we see is a good way of measuring where things are at in your business. Then looking into 2025, again, what are those key focus goals? Is it your revenue or number of employees? And go a step deeper. Why do you want to hit those goals? Do you want to hire someone? Usually, if you're wanting to hire someone, it's because you're wanting to take something off your plate, or if you're wanting to work on the business instead of working in the business. But beyond that, what is your goal? Are you going to set the business up to sell at some point? Are you going to put kids in place to run the business, or are you looking to hand it over at some point as well? Dive into those whys for 2025 as well, and I'm sure a lot of you are doing just general goal planning across all areas of your lives as well. That's obviously going to tie into it business wise. Okay, now on the marketing worksheet here's this. It's a Google sheet. You can put in the numbers there, but these are really just those key numbers we identified there. This is what it will calculate, and I've spit out for you there to look at yourself as well. So put those in, but you can see that will calculate. If you have a revenue target, your average ticket value, what number of leads would you need to be bringing in per month to generate that based on how your closing rate is. And again, things like closing rate can always be improved upon. There's a lot of things you can do around sales and following up leads that can be worked on there too. So if you're not happy with the close rate, look into that too. There's some great resources of sales training that we've seen, even people we'd recommend if you want that. So really now break it down into those number of leads with that worksheet. Take a moment, if you haven't, just to put in that information and see how many leads it will take for you to get there. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Great. Then we have the worksheet. So again, hopefully you've had a chance to get this here as well. Most of these columns are going to automatically populate for you, but this gives you just a breakdown of allocating budget for the marketing side of things. And we see 8% has been a typical percentage of annual revenue. The Small Business Association recommends 7 to 8% for moderate growth of businesses as well, but all the way up to 15% for really aggressive growth, down to 3% for just very consistent, maintained business there. And you've got some numbers to put in there. Online marketing, splitting that between offline, so your physical marketing, anything mailers, you might be doing signage, branding of vehicles and apparel for shirts and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get to that in more detail towards the next bit of the presentation there too. Just make sure you've got a copy. And this forms your strategy. So we're going to dive into the parts of this accelerated growth model. The first component is driving leads. We want to bring leads in. We want to convert those leads. Then we want to track everything so that we can optimize and increase both of those areas. Then within those different sections, we have the strategy. So for driving leads, we have SEO. And here is, as a core part of Foundation, is just a breakdown of things. Again, just what we've seen working in 24, moving into 25 as well. But you've got your on page, which is everything with your website. We've got everything with your maps listings, your Google business profile, but also, as I mentioned, Bing places is important. More important now with ChatGPT being linked in with Bing search, but also Apple Connect. If you haven't set up an Apple Connect profile, make sure you do that. The one thing we are seeing with Apple Connect, if you don't have a commercial address for your business, most of the time Apple won't let you do it. So it's actually a good reason to try and get yourself a commercial space if you can for the business, even something cheap, $200, $300 a month potentially, just to be able to do that. And also for your Google business profile, to be able to show your address online is a better ranking factor. So those are some strategies that can work well there. Then Google now more than ever is looking at your website for your Google business profile ranking. So anything you do at any point across your social channels, website, Google profile, they should all be mirroring each other. And nowadays there's lots of software that can connect in and post to multiple profiles. So, whenever you create something new on one area, syndicate it out, push it out to the other areas of your business and those different profiles there as well. So that's the ongoing content. And then, signals leverage is really what we would say, really the off-page SEO, getting other websites, press releases, things to talk about you, joining associations, getting those listings up are still very effective for organic SEO. Next, we have the paid search side of things. I talked about the Google Local Services ads just before. So here's a good, general way to look at the foundation of things is get your SEO in place, firstly, then start to move into your paid search areas. So local services ads, definitely a key part of that, but then you're moving into your Google ads there as well. That is a great way to really start to dominate the Google search page. There's like 4 key areas there: your website, your Google business profile, local service ads, and Google ads. If you really just want to dominate that, which is your highest intent searches, then make sure you've got all of those key areas covered there as well. Then retargeting is part of that. You can target people with Google ads and meta ads, which I'll talk about in a second, who've engaged with you previously, and keep you top of mind. It follows them around the internet and will show your business around for them, and they're a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper to run those ads to people who've already visited you or your profiles to do so. Then, yeah, paid directories, pay per lead. There is platforms here that you have to be just very careful with. The lead quality can be quite different to anything that's not coming through your own channels as well. But in terms of getting links for off-page SEO, we really recommend, paid directory, local listings, anything that's local focus for your business. Chamber of Commerce is great for that. Local associations, and then your bigger statewide national associations. Make sure you're in those paid directories, which have, the great benefits of those associations you work with. You're not just paying for a link, but those are the things we would suggest prioritizing. And then you can start to move into the social ads, which meta ads have a really good place there in terms of catching people in your local area. The targeting can be great. So as a quick hierarchy of things to be focused on, that's what we're seeing as the best return for people to have a consistent, predictable lead flow. On a quick note on the Google ads as well, it's when you set up one ad for all the services, and if you're setting up a smart campaign on Google Ads, this is really what happens when you do that. Google will just find ways to waste your money very quickly on that too. So do not recommend running those smart campaigns with Google. Either look for someone who's focused on running these types of campaigns. Get a professional, really, is what my recommendation. Obviously, we're biased with that there too, but at the very least, get someone who knows what they're doing for those, or it's very easy to waste money there too. And for Google Ads, a really important part of that is having a landing page that's a specific page, based around the search terms, that doesn't allow those people to get distracted by going to other places as well. So that, pay attention to that for pay-per-click. And there's just some information here, just some metrics to look at in terms of, deciding where your return on investment will come from. You definitely want to make sure that you're tracking the return on any type of campaign, but paid ads is really important. And we break this down into the number of leads, into conversion rate, how many jobs you book through it, what your average ticket price is, and what your return is with your revenue there as well. So there's some quick numbers there based on that and the number of booked jobs for a pay-per-lead campaign that is really targeting local services ads and Google ads. Has been established for some time. It's been optimized and dialed in for the people in your local area there. And some numbers there. For those types of numbers, you could definitely reasonably expect to be spending about $8,000 per month on that, just to make sure people are really really clear on what the costs are involved there. But if you're generating a revenue of about $112,000, you can see that's a 14 times return. Obviously, you can then compare that to your profit margin and things there to see, you're investing this much, how much goes back into your pocket. Okay. And on that too, the next key thing really I talked about at the start is, what's the customer journey when they contact you? Someone finding your business through paid ads, they haven't been through the same type of search journey that someone searching organically has been, and certainly not the same as a referral or a word of mouth type of method. So you got to strike quickly. You got to build trust quickly. Automated follow up is key for this, which we'll get more into that here as well. But what do you have in place right now? Someone calls you, you can't answer the phone. What happens? Take a look at that. Or someone submits a form on your website. What happens? Do you get an email? Goes to your spam. You have to try and find it. You're busy. Or does that person get a text back straight away? These are comparing what happens with the customer journey. They're, for paid ads, even more important than any other channel. And then lastly here, just looking at the database. So the database part of driving leads is re-engaging people who may have worked with you before or submitted, you did a quote for them in the past, but they didn't convert. Or maybe they just came in, they were interested about your business. Maybe you have an email list or something. Your database is incredibly powerful, and email marketing is the best way to do this. And text marketing, it can be done, but if you're like me, Black Friday, I mean, I got tons of text marketing offers coming through. There's been a lot of telecommunication restrictions and things put in place this year with text marketing, so you have to be really careful. We actually just recommend, email marketing is the best way. Your text marketing should be used very sporadically, because if too many people type stop or opt out, your phone numbers can get blacklisted, and you can ruin a phone number if you do it the wrong way. So database reactivation there, big focus. Put out good quality email content. Keep people updated on your projects, but don't be afraid to put out a summer special or a revamp your yard in 2025 special. Things like that are good opportunities to send out to that database. And Sal, I'm saying, yeah, hiring a secretary is key to answering all leads that come in. Yeah, absolutely. That step of having someone to answer every phone call rather than the business owner trying to do it in the field, the return on that is immense. And look, you can do a lot of ways of using a secretary. It can be a physical person in an office. There are professional phone answering services that can do that. Again, I talked about AI. No, it's not quite there yet with being able to answer phones and do it to that high level you would want for higher price projects like these. But it will continue to get closer to that. But if you haven't considered that higher, make sure you definitely do for 2025 if you're having issues answering your phone. All right, so that covers the driving the lead section here. Quick check in here. The red light method, green yellow light method. Take a look at what you've been doing. We've just covered the drive lead section, the organic paid database so far. Green is you're firing on all cylinders. Yellow, there's some things that can be tweaked. Red is nothing. You don't have anything running for that channel. Give yourself a quick check on that, and then we're going to move into maximizing conversions. Okay, so first thing here, maximizing conversions. What we're saying here is when someone sees your brand online, how can we do the utmost possible to get them to reach out to you instead of a competitor? And it's not that they're not going to speak to competitors. In this industry, most people are going to be speaking to 2 or 3 contractors at least to get some bids. But besides the bid price, what are you doing to help maximize that conversion? And your website is a key part of that. All of your social media profiles have a website link on it. You can showcase more on your website than any other channel, even though it's been around really the longest. It's still very important. So you want to make sure that your website, one, can be navigated well, optimized well. And we did a webinar earlier this year on the critical elements to conversion. So I'm not going to go into each of these parts specifically, but authenticity, if I could give you one focus around that this year, moving into 2025, is showcase about your company, your team, your story. Make sure you get that on there, and then customer proof, social proof, testimonials, reviews. And then I touched on before, the project gallery is a really important finished product side. But people want to hear from people, whether it's you as the business owner or the team or your clients. make sure you focus on that going into website conversion to give you the best chance of getting chosen. Key things here, I'm just going to go through these very quickly. Make sure people can click on a number on your site to call you very, very easily. Absolute bare minimum these days as well. As I said, have some photos of your team on there. This is a client of ours. They've got that there, and some information about why choosing them. Excuse me, why choosing them. But get some people. If you don't have photos of yourself or your team on your site, get them on there. Video is very powerful, obviously on all the social media channels. But get a video together about your company, explaining your story. Do something like that. Don't make it all about your projects. Make it about you guys as well. Hire a local videographer to do something like that. Shouldn't cost you too much to find someone local to do that. A couple of $100. But get your brand out there. Get your story and your personality out there. Social proof, as I mentioned, get your best reviews automatically showing on your site from all of your different channels. If you do financing, if you're a part of associations, if you have suppliers you're specifically working with, get that information on your site. It builds a lot of trust, builds a lot of credibility. If you're part of the landscape associations, do so. If you're appearing on press releases, get that information on there too. Leverage chat. Again, coming down to what's the quickest, easiest way for people to get in touch with you. Chat widget can be a good place to start that conversation as well for people who don't want to call, or maybe it's after hours. And that's really, a quick overview of the fundamentals of the website conversion side of things too. Again, I did run a webinar on that about 6 months ago. You can go check that on our YouTube channel to get the real nitty-gritty details. Next up, reputation. So we've talked about showcasing reviews. Really key focus here. And again, a bit of a plug. We have a system we use as well, but there are lots of review collection systems out there. Get something in place to automate those reviews to prompt the customer, as well as manually speaking to people. Get a printed card with a QR code on it linking to your Google Business profile for reviews. You can do NFC cards where they just hold up their phone and do it. There are lots of in-person ways to utilize that and make it easier as well. But so much a phone call and texting them the link on the phone call is another just really great manual way. But go one step further. When you're getting reviews, you want to get, you're spending time working with this customer, doing good quality work. Try and maximize the best quality review possible. Get them to really talk about the services you provided in the area they're in, if possible. That's great for SEO. But before and after pitches, people can leave pitches with reviews. That's a great thing to focus on if they can do that. Or even better, video. It has to be under 30 seconds. You might have to coach them on that, but even just a quick walkthrough of what's been done, they can add that to their review. And that's the best quality type of review Google is looking for these days. And really focus on Google. Yelp reviews shouldn't be a priority for you. Google is really where it's at for what you're doing here. So focus on that. And then next step is automation. So common thing is, is lead flow really the problem? Excuse me. But what happens afterwards, and Sal touched on that before, hiring a secretary to actually answer the leads is the next step. The lead flow is just one part of the journey, obviously. Your sales process has got to kick in strong as soon, the moment that person calls, texts, emails, submits a form, starts talking to the chat widget as well. So whatever channels you're using, make sure you've got a system in place to help convert those. So 90% of web forms fail to convert as statistics. That's pretty crazy. You want to get to them. if you don't get to someone within 15 minutes, that lead can go extremely cold. And nowadays, people need to be followed up. It's just how things are. People are busy. They're talking to other companies. Fortune is in the follow up. You've got to do that one. So there's a quick outline there of doing those things too. Embrace the texting, embrace the automated follow up. Touch them, converse with them as many times as possible there. After a phone call, make sure they get a text back. I enjoyed hearing about your project. If you've done a bid, make sure there's an automated text, or at least have someone manually do it. Those are all ways you can build in good reasons to contact people without annoying them. And then the really nitty-gritty detail, like building out a workflow on an automation type of software. Again, there are lots out there, and we have ours we use, but this uses a combination of email follow-up, text follow-up, manual phone call follow-ups with people, even to the point of connecting with them on social media potentially as your business, showcasing and sending them some photos of a similar project to what they might be looking for. These are the types of things you can implement to really help follow up with people. Okay, so that is the maximize conversion section there. Give yourself a traffic light rating now. Again, if you've just joined us, your website, what is your website doing in terms of showcasing your business and wanting to encourage leads or inquiries to pick you over other companies? Not just in the initial reach out, but afterwards, even after you've done the bid, they might still be going back to spend time learning more about your business. Reputation. What systems do you have in place to collect reviews and those high quality reviews? And then automation. What systems or software are you already using? And are they set up properly? Are they working for you? Take a look at that and give yourself traffic light rating. And then we'll move on to the last section of the accelerated growth model, which is all about optimizing results. And obviously the first thing here is looking at, okay, how much are we spending? And this is where your worksheet comes into place. Again, the link is in the chat there to get a copy of this worksheet and copy it and put your own numbers in there as well. But based on your annual revenue, we've got these key percentage figures around marketing budgets and what to put in there. So, yeah, 5%-ish for static, 6 to 15 for growth, and you're really anything past 15 is you're really putting a huge focus on growing through different marketing channels, and you can allocate it. We've put some draft figures in there too. Okay, yeah, let me get you the link again. And I'm just going to show up on the screen. Hopefully that is coming through. Otherwise, I'll jump back to the slide and show that for you guys. Yeah, I definitely want to make sure we all get this. So let me jump over back to the worksheet link here for that one. There we go. Landscapecontractormarketing.com marketing worksheet. Now, it should be set up for anyone to view. You will just need to make a copy of it and save it to your Google Drive. and that way you can input your own numbers into it. But these default values here is in terms of the marketing split is a uh, pretty close type of statistic or that we are seeing for people. So says request for access. Okay, let me just make sure we've got that coming through. While I'm doing this, just take a moment to look through that. Put in your numbers. Again, base it off your annual revenue. Put in what you think your percentage spend on marketing would be overall. This is online, offline, physical, digital. Do all those ones together. Okay, now I see here I need to make sure that's saved. Okay, yeah, the worksheet should have already been available, but the plan there will be there too. So RS on the feed, if you just want to check through that again there, but let me know if you're still having issues with that one. So this slide here is actually the same as the one there too. So typically we do see your pay-per-click or your paid advertising channels. There is a higher amount needed to do that because you have not only a management cost, someone to manage that, but you also have the advertising spend you put into Google or Meta if you're doing that. So that usually is quite higher than SEO. SEO is proportionately smaller for that there too. Display retargeting, we find 5% is a really good amount to spend there. And you can do that through digital channels as well. But, when you have people's physical addresses, you can do things like postcard mailers and send that to people on your list. It's a database reactivation strategy. And they already know you, so they're not just getting a unknown piece of paper through it. And there can be some pretty cost-effective ways to do that there. So again, those percentages are kind of put in there to give you a good benchmark of things. So you should really, really need to just focus on your annual projected revenue and your marketing budget percentage to give you, some quick numbers there to work with. And let me jump back ahead to where we're going there. And really, once you know your total spend in total across all of your channels, and you have a tracking system set up, so a CRM being the key one there, you can just get a general average cost per lead. I mean, even if these people are coming back as referrals or repeat customers, word of mouth, it's good to know this figure generally, because if you're doing good work and you're maximizing the people that you are working with, that's a byproduct of getting that lead in the first place. So there's opportunity there. But then more granular, you can take a look at what's happening in terms of your paid advertising as an example, which you should be tracking. You can use things like separate phone numbers for paid ads campaigns versus your website SEO versus a physical mailer where you could put a QR code on there. There are ways to do it, but and it depends on how granular you want to be. But if you really want to know those cost per lead details for each channel, there is that setup required. Otherwise, knowing just in general what it costs beyond just what Angie might tell you or Google cost per lead, that's that high level of things. And really, yeah, like I said, do you have a way to do that? Every lead is an opportunity. So this is something I'm just really passionate about making every business owner aware of. I have to remind myself sometimes. Every lead's an opportunity. Like it doesn't matter if you close that person in the moment. As soon as someone has reached out to you, they go into your database, and at any point in the future, they could convert into a customer there as well. Then contrast that with absolutely anyone you work with now, provided you're doing good work, will now become a potential referral source, word of mouth referral for your business. So while looking at cost per lead, it's really important to think about what's the lifetime potential value of that lead as well, which brings us into the return on investment. Really, the last section we're going to cover here around this is the closed leads that go into your database can become repeat customers and referrals, word of mouth. But while you're out and about, while you're working on someone's property, what do? Do you put signs out? Do you have your signage on your vehicles? Do you go talk to the neighbors and speak to them, or apologize for the inconvenience of you being in the street? Not to mention, anything you do with any closed lead, any project, is now that authentic content source that can be repurposed, repackaged out to every single online channel, website, social media profiles, video content. All of that then becomes an ad on there, as well as the referral, the potential for reviews to go out there as well. So maximize every lead. And there's a quote here: half my advertising spend is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. If you don't have tracking in place, you just can't know what that is. So take a look there. Really, the last section here is a check-in for yourself. What's the total spend on your marketing? Can you generate what a cost per lead is from that based on your database? And how are you maximizing leads and closed jobs, closed customers into a better return? So just give yourself a quick rating here: red, yellow, or green. Now, having done that, out of those really 9 key areas, you should have an area there that hopefully stood out to you as being a key priority. I would recommend picking the one that's the lowest hanging fruit. What is something that might be just a couple of fixes away from really generating you more results? I'm always happy to chat about that too. So if you want to share your situation with me after this call, go for it. We can talk about that together. And then plan out what you need to do based on that spreadsheet. What would it mean to you if you are implementing even just one of those? Maybe a red goes to yellow or a yellow goes to green. What's that going to look like for your business? Maybe you can't tangibly calculate it in this moment, but you can envision, the impact it's going to have on your business. Like I said, there's our direct line. Text. Feel free to text us. I'd be happy to jump on a call as a follow-up for people who've attended here live and talk through what came out there for you. And then if you want to dive into some deeper level things as well, if you go to the schedule page on our site and you can submit your details there, we can do a deeper dive into what you've got going on with the business. Do an online marketing plan review. Can even touch on a few physical strategies we're seeing working best too. But really, when you combine all of these things together, this is how you can start getting to tripling sales and even higher return on investment once you have all these levers dialed in for your business. We do that with our digital dominance method. So, at the peak, we're covering every single one of these channels with our marketing packages too. And then really this is your workshop here. So your top 10 action items. This is an interactive webinar. I hope you've had a chance to take a look through, or if you're looking back on this recording, that you've been able to follow along. We will have a recording up. Yeah, a recording will go up to our database here as well, so you can follow along from the beginning, recap it, put me on 1.5, 2 times speed if you want to speed things up a bit. But let's be people of action. Let's make sure that that we've all taken time out to focus on this. What are your top action items coming out of this? It can be as small as saying, hey, for every person I do a project for, I'm going to ask them if they can leave a review with a photo. That's going to have impact for sure. Through to, hey, we need a whole CRM system to manage leads and track lead flow, costs and everything. You choose what areas you think you're going to take action on. We do have a marketing checklist if you want to do that too. It's like a quick, quick check of what we've talked through here too. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Aris. Putting a sign up for every project in construction. So effective. And what does a sign cost? Not much at all, just to do that and maximize the opportunities. I take notice every house I drive past where there's some type of construction. I'll take a look and see what's going on. People are definitely inquisitive and want to know what the neighbors are doing for sure. Okay, and here's what we covered. Again, on the replay, this will go out. You can take a look there as well. Really mapping out the plan and the key focus areas, as well as a check-in for yourself and your business to set you up for 2025. And again, if you want to dive into a one-on-one with me, feel free to schedule that through that link there as well. But I appreciate your time. Thank you for jumping on with us today. And if you're watching back, I hope this was of massive value to you as well. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all. Otherwise, thank you for joining. This is Josh Blakely from Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing. We appreciate you being here. Thanks.